Last time on Pry Bar Knives. What do we have here? The Begg Knives Astio. Okay, what it has is a little bit of pivot lash. The pocket clip is neat. It's got a ceramic ball. It is a very thick tip. Just the tip. Ooh, 4.9. So even a little bit more than I thought. Is it a little bit on the high end at 120? Yeah. Is it worth 90 to 100? I would say yeah. Now I gotta get away from the rocks again. So the thresher is a shark.
Watching the knife test, I thought the short barrel was going to sing.
Out of that bucket, you baby! Sandblasting box. So I got to go back a little bit on what I said on this Begg Knives Astio. One thing I was wrong about was that there was no liner on one side. Jeez, look at the liner. This thing is a chunk, man. There are probably small pocket knives that weigh less than this. Like a Hogue Deca might not weigh much more than this. This is the liner and whole rear part from this side. So this little bit of G10 goes over it like this. I thought that this part was separate along with this part, like all one piece, but separate from the rest, and that the rest was just G10 up to here. But no, this whole piece with the lock bar and everything is the liner. So it's a weird, not a liner lock. It's almost like a frame lock with a partial G10 scale, kind of. I don't know, man. But anyway, so they've cut down in this recess for the bearings, and this little ass washer is what the bearings run on, and you can just see on it. I mean, I don't know if you can see on it, but I can see on it that the bearings have not run perfectly centered. They're off center. The washer is a little smushed because it's too damn thin. I don't know why they didn't just machine this nice and smooth and have the bearings run right on here. This is stainless steel. It would have been fine. I don't know what this washer is even needed for, unless they messed up and made the dimensions wrong or something. I don't know what that's about. And then when we get into it, what a greasy ass mess. I mean, I don't think I added any grease to it, but geez, it's greasy and gross. Everything had Loctite on it. That's not the best. Now see, this side is all just G10. And then, of course, there's a little washer under this bearing, just like the other side, little tiny washer. So, I mean, I guess that's what they wanted to do, that little real super thin washer. And this one, too, is, well, it's fairly centered. But no, it's not, actually. No, it's a little bit off center where the bearings went. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but it is. It's a little bit off center. This side's further in, this side's further out. So, yeah, it's not great. Yeah, so the washer is loose on the pivot. I can move it back and forth on the pivot, and it's loose in the hole that it sits in. So it can wobble around anywhere it wants to, basically. Not great. This guy is sitting in G10. That's not the best thing to have a stop pin sitting in G10. I'm surprised the G10 hasn't gotten pushed around a little bit and smashed up. It's not a great execution. The design is pretty cool, but the execution, whoopsie, just dropped another washer. The execution is meh. D-shaped pivot, that's good. So greasy and gross, though. I don't know. So anyway, while I got it apart, I'm going to take and put a little 45-degree bevel on here because those little pointy bitches are a little rough on the thumb, pushing it over. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to take this side down a little bit too for the reverse flick to get your finger in there a little better. And then on this side, I will put a little bit of a cut there so for better thumb access. So we'll get that done and we'll put it back together. So did this cut right here. So there's a little more access for the reverse flick. And then this cut right here. So this thumb access is better. And then did a little just bit of sanding around the top. And then that's all I did on that one. And on this side, just took this down here, finish it up with some 500 grit sandpaper so it pretty much looks just like the original texture of the piece. Not much different, maybe a little smoother. Yeah, should allow plenty of access. I also put a tiny detent ramp on the detent hole. So we'll see if that helps ease a little bit on the reverse flick and on the thumb flick. We'll see. It's very small, so it might not do much, but it wasn't that bad as it was, and it'll probably wear in either way. So we'll see. Man, sometimes Rit dye just looks really good on G10, like better than micarta. Gives it like an almost carbon fibery sparkle. I think this is going to look great when I start doing some little dimples on these, in these little cutout areas that are not really cutouts. They're just, you know, they're surrounded by a little line. And that'll show the underlying, you know, beige G10 that it was before. Then we might dye it again like a red or something so that this purple stuff will probably ignore the red, or it might make it a little bit darker, but then this area will be a nice bright red while this area stays like a dark purple. Or just leave it tan if that looks good. I'm not sure. We're going to do something like that. What do we have here? Well, we got these purple scales, and we got some little divots I'm putting in it for, you know, entertainment's sake and for looking cool. And just want to show you what I'm using here. I'm using this little Bauer Walmart Dremel. No, maybe it's Harbor Freight Dremel with this little diamond round bit in it. And it makes little divots when you press it in there. Only thing about this guy is it kind of overheats fairly quickly. So you got about 10 minutes to work with it, and then it starts overheating. So we can see what I'm doing here. So as you can see the line here, I'll try to get this whole area done over to there in a couple seconds here. Maybe we'll speed it up. Maybe we'll do a few at regular speed, then speed it up. You want to always wear a little mask like I have on right now when you're doing this kind of thing, because sucking in fiberglass dust is not the best for your lungs. It can give you like, let's see, I think maybe cancer or something like cancer. If it ain't cancer, it's almost as bad. It's like pretty bad. Like you can't breathe too good. So just wear a mask. It ain't gonna, you know, even a COVID mask. Probably better than nothing. So that's what we got. We blow it off here. Gotta take the mask off to blow it off, which is probably not the best idea. But, so that's what it looks like now. And when this is all done, shut up, you're gonna overheat. When this is all done, I got this part, whoop. When I got this part and this part done, I'm going to do something else, like maybe just touch it with sandpaper a little bit to get rid of all the little rest of the little purple stuff, and then maybe polish it a little bit, and that'll kind of make it bring out the original sort of beige color in it. So that's what all the little dimples look like after they're cut and cleaned up a little bit. All right, man, let's get this thing put back together. I'm a little disappointed in I don't know what you would say, not the fit and finish so much, but the design choices, like these thin ass little washers that support the bearings, especially on when you're talking about pure G10. You got a washer set into pure G10 with bearings pressed into it. It's not a good idea. You know, when it has the stainless steel to back it up, no big deal. But then again, why aren't you just using this stainless steel? Why would you need a washer set into this stainless steel? These are weird choices, not the best choices. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say about it. But we got these colored purple, like you see. And then I also dipped them again in green just for a few seconds because this was sort of a weird beigey gray color. Now it's got a little bit of a green hue to it, and I think it just looks a little better darker regardless. Even if I had just done it like a lighter purple, it would look better than the sort of tan gray that it was before. Anyway, let's get this sucker put back together. Maybe we'll do a little fast forward so it's not so boring. Oh, fuck you. Holy shit. Holy shit. Come the fuck on. So we got it back together. Good grief. That was a pain in the ass. Now, on the bright side, it's more drop shutty than it was. I'm not sure why. Why is it more drop shutty? Now, I put a little detent ramp in it, but that only should help on the opening, not on the drop. I don't know, but I will say, I like how it looks now. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, I think it's an improvement. I didn't know what to do with the clip. Like, there's not much black on it, but the clip is black. I thought about maybe, like, antiquing it a little bit, scraping some of the black off, but I thought that wouldn't look right because it's very high-tech, spacey looking. So antique shit doesn't sound right. Maybe just totally make it chrome? Or, you know, polished. Something like that. I don't know. Alright. So how do we like it now? Redone. With that little detent ramp, man, it is easier to open. It's easier to reverse flick. Well, it is, trust me. It's still not super easy. It's easier to thumb, open. The flipper tab's easier. Oh, I did the little improvement on the access here, opening that up a little bit so that your thumb can get on the lock easier, so it's way more comfy. How does it cut? Fuck, who cares? Look how cool it looks. I don't care how it cuts. I'm sure if you sharpen it, it'll cut. It's not for cutting, it's for looking cool, man. Look at it. It's like a badass gas station knife, but made slightly better with G10 and D2. So it's like a gas station looking knife, but made like a budget knife, but costing like a lower, you know, middle priced $120 knife. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I recommend it because it's kind of expensive for what it is, and I had to do a lot of work to it to get it the right way. And when you take it apart, you see all the little kind of goofiness that goes on inside of it. It's kind of like one of those, I like mine, but I don't know if you really want it. I don't know. I think in general, I like Begg knives. I like what their knives look like. I think they do a good job of design. And, you know, the aesthetic, the design aesthetic is nice. But, yeah, building it is another thing. I'd like to find out who their OEM is. Like, it almost feels like a Kubi or something. Like one of those companies that hasn't done a lot of OEM work, and so they're not the best at figuring out how to make someone's how to make someone's how to make someone's design, their simplistic design, say, or in this case, a custom maker's design. He's already made this design and sold it, but it's probably too complex. So they have to take the complexity of a custom knife and make it into a production model. So I think that's maybe where the corners get cut and things don't go quite right. But it's a pretty cool looking knife anyway, regardless of all that other stuff. So I'm going to clean up my mess and go to bed because it's fucking 2 a.m. Have a nice day.